everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another series review. I just recently watched Genius, and in this episode we see Mineva and Albert beginning to drift apart, and there was another man who had quite the fancy for Mineva, and we see her give into temptation in that aspect, and it's very sad to see their marriage starting to fall apart and Einstein beginning to gravitate in the direction of Marie. It just seems like he and Marie are more suited for each other, especially when they're just conversing like normal people would. And he mentions to her, every day with you is like sunshine, but when I return home, it's as if there's a dark cloud hovering over me. And I thought, ooh, yikes. It wasn't a very comfortable environment for him at all, and they had quite a few spats apparently, and Mineva wouldn't allow him to go forward with the divorce. But she made their marriage formal instead of going through with all the legalization that would entail the proceedings of the divorce, only because of the children. She was dogmatic about she was just so very yeah, she had the determination to stick with the relationship as long as need be for the sake of the kids, basically. And you feel so much sadness through her, and I don't know if she had that affair out of spite, or if it was just a convenience for her, or if she really did love that other man. It just is, what she said was very telling, I thought. She stated, what happened, happened. It doesn't mean that this will be a likely occurrence once more. And I thought, maybe it was just her way of vengeance. I don't know, because Mineva is a very tragic character. She's very intriguing, and they just, for lack of better terminology, they fell out of love, and you can see them just drift away from each other, and it's just heartrending. And of course, there are interrogations going on, and there was this solar eclipse. He was trying to prove special relativity, and they said, oh, light can't bend. He said, oh, I will prove that it does. Just make sure that you get a picture of the eclipse. And of course, he was taken, his photographer was, photographer was taken prisoner, and that never happened. And of course, Mineva says something very jarring and rather inconsiderate, and I was thinking it was just terrible. I mean, I know she was upset, but she had no right to say what she did. She said, consider it a blessing. I thought, oh, you witch. But playing devil's advocate, I can see where she was coming from, honestly. She was a wounded, very fragile creature at that time, and she was unfiltered, and she just let her anger out. She didn't really watch what she said anymore. She didn't care at that point in time, because she knew that everything that they were doing was just a facade. It's become very interesting. I'm thinking that the Archduke Francis Ferdinand, of course, he was just assassinated, so we all know that WW2 is coming up, and Einstein is going to be persecuted due to the fact that he's Jewish. But I'm not really sure where they're going to go with the whole idea into that, whether he's going to. Well, he did go to Zurich, so that they had that part correct. They have all the information correct. I'm glad that they're following it very closely, and I'm really enjoying it, and I just thought that this episode was a little bit more depressing than normal, and actually Mineva had some really good points, and I hate to say this, but I think she was admittedly trying to poke holes into Einstein's theory just to get back at him, kind of try to irk him and rankle him a bit, and I thought, oh, just let it go, woman. Leave him be. He's on to something. Just let him continue to work with that and see where it takes it. Well, we all know if we had no special theory of relativity, blah, 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 I can't even talk, I'm so tired, but if we had no special relativity theory, we wouldn't understand theoretical physics as it is now, what it's developed to be. And of course we had Ramanujan. He was also very integral in developing I think it was fractal math or permutations. No, it wasn't fractal math. It was permutations that he developed in order to describe the nature of black holes, their makeup. And I thought, to have that kind of mind, I can't fathom. I love watching things like this because I'm of the ilk of, I can see my characters come to life on a piece of paper and they just take upon their own existence, and I love seeing that because I already know what my characters are going to do and how they'll do it. And the one I'm working on right now is just developing at lightning speed, and it's probably the best thing I've done in a long time. And after that, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be writing. Of course, I have a lot of things here. But anyway, Nat Geo has really done a splendid job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what will occur next, especially with how Einstein navigates the whole conundrum, or I should say the the very delicate nature of the relationship that he has with Marie, his own children, just the changing climate of Europe at the time. It was a very uncertain era in history, and everybody was scared. And I'm thinking that we're going through that again. History has a tendency to repeat itself. I was watching the news, and they were talking. I'm not a prophetess, but they were talking about Russia, and I just kind of shook my head a little bit. I thought, please don't let it be another Cold War. We don't want to go through another Cold War. We love Russia. Russia's our ally. Let's not be on opposing sides with Russia, because if that happens, we're screwed. I'm just saying it now and just alerting other people to it. If nobody hears that, then, don't forget that I told you so. Because those who fail to learn from history tend to repeat it. But it's really a stand-up series, and I love all the actors and actresses that were playing in it. And I'll say this again: the young actor who plays young Einstein is very handsome. I really, really like him. And they got the accents right, and just dialect seems authentic, and I'm glad that they pay attention to detail in order to do that. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the manuscript and the manifesto, and where Einstein heads, and just how things are changing in this climate here that we see unfold before us. Another thing I'm looking forward to, I don't know if I'm still going to have TV at this time, but they're going to have a documentary on Vietnam War. And I really wasn't into Nam. I'm more World War II, and just World War II, Cold War, and I think the Cold War extended into the 80s. I know a lot of people say, oh, no, it did. Yeah, it did. And I think sort of overlapped with a lot of other wars that we had. And some people even like to suggest that World War II might still be going on a little bit, slightly, with the things that have been happening. And I think, yeah, there have been some ties back to World War II. It's the residue, but I don't know. It's hard to say. There really aren't a lot of things to go on, but it kind of makes you wonder. But it's another documentary by Ken Burns, and Ken Burns is the king of documentary, or particularly that of wartime historical pieces, and this will be on PBS, and I'm thinking, I have to see this because I don't really know anything about Vietnam. The only thing that I enjoyed learning about it were the protest songs. I always liked the protest songs that came out of it, and it was very intriguing to me. I don't know why I like protest songs. It just, there's something very stirring, and they tell a really good story, and I adore it. But that's basically all I have to say about this particular series, and it's just getting good. This episode, like I said, was a little bit more sad than usual, but they didn't sugarcoat anything, and it's very blunt in how it portrays just that disintegration of whatever relationship that Mineva and Albert had to begin with. And he fell out of love with her. It's tragic. That can happen sometimes. But he was a very controversial man for the time, especially. And I guess there's a bit of a double standard, I suppose, when it comes to polygamy. I'm not really sure how that would work. I had a friend, actually, I still have a friend who has a polygamous relationship, and I don't know how he does. It's like a hen house and one rooster, sort of like a harem scenario. And I'm not certain how he does it, or how it even works, or how he keeps the women from not strangling each other to death. But it's he kept trying to recruit me, and I thought, should I be flattered or terrified out of my mind? But you know, he wasn't half bad. He was a pretty good looking guy. He was also a nudist. Go figure. But I'm wondering how he is. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but I'm still pretty sure that the harem is going on. But that's pretty much all I have to say, other than most of what I have on my first bookshelf is taken off. I'm going to put more into a box tomorrow and just get things straightened up after I get my car tended to and go to the store and not spend more than I have to. I'm getting the essentials that I am really needing. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've been up to at this point in time, and not really certain where the future will take me, but wherever it leads, I'm sure that it'll be more than what I've ever imagined. So until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti!